Imagine waking up in 1919 Boston, a crisp morning air tickling your nose. Suddenly, a rumble, a boom, and a tidal wave, not of water, but of gluggy, fermented molasses. 2 million gallons engulfed the streets, roaring at 35 miles per hour, choking houses and crushing buildings. This wasn't just a wave, it was a sticky disaster, leaving a trail of destruction and a bittersweet reminder of history's strangest tragedies. Welcome to the Great Molasses Flood. Picture this. It's January 15, 1919, and the North End neighborhood of Boston is buzzing with activity. The Purity Distilling Company's large storage tank filled with 2.3 million gallons of molasses stands tall, ready to burst. Suddenly, it does, unleashing a wave of molasses at a staggering speed of 35 miles per hour. This wave, as high as 25 feet, sweeps through the streets, wreaking havoc and leaving destruction in its wake. Tragically, 21 lives were lost, and 150 people were injured. The area is forever scarred by the sweet and sticky residue that lingers in the air. Now, you may be wondering, how did this disaster happen? Well, molasses, as you may know, can be fermented to produce ethanol, which is used in alcoholic beverages and munitions. The molasses tank at the Purity Distilling Company's facility was used to store molasses for later transfer to their ethanol plant. However, on that fateful day, the combination of warmer temperatures and the thermal expansion of the molasses led to the tank bursting open. The excessive force of the molasses wave caused extensive damage to nearby buildings, swept away vehicles, and even took lives. This wasn't a scene from Willy Wonka gone wrong, but a genuine disaster that claimed lives and forever branded the neighborhood. The scene reads like a surreal nightmare, a sticky symphony of tragedy. Imagine molasses raining down on Boston's North End, turning streets into rivers of dark treacle. The local newspaper vividly depicted the horrific scene as molasses dripped, enveloping the nurses' white uniforms and mingling with blood. It was an unforgettable sight that etched itself deeply into the memories of those. Among the victims was George Lay, a courageous firefighter assigned to Engine 31. While he had managed to avoid the initial deluge of molasses, the disaster's impact extended to the neighboring firehouse. Trapped under heavy timbers, a piano, and a pool table, it took rescuers nearly 4 painstaking hours to reach Leahy, only to find him lifeless. Heartbreakingly, he had been mere moments away from the safety of the fire station's sliding pole. Leahy, originally from Fort Plain, New York, had made East Boston his home for the past 19 years. He had earned a stellar reputation within the fire department, leaving behind a wife and 3 children, adding a layer of tragedy to an already devastating day. 4 months after the explosion, the city had to utilize the powerful water hoses from the harbor's fireboat to wash away some of the lingering molasses. Interestingly, even decades later, during scorching summer days, whispers persisted that the air in Boston's North End still carried a faint essence of molasses. This sticky sweet substance is famously used as a key ingredient in many delightful candies and desserts, such as the beloved gingerbread man. But why did the United States Industrial Alcohol Corporation require such an enormous molasses tank? It turns out molasses had more uses than just sating our taste buds. It could be rapidly transformed into rum or industrial alcohol. In 1915, the United States Industrial Company hastily erected this ill-fated tank without the input of professional engineers or architects. Over time, the tank's characteristic smell, leaks, and groans became regular occurrences, though no one ever anticipated the catastrophic flood of molasses that would annihilate the surrounding area. Initially, the United States Industrial Alcohol Corporation tried to shift blame onto anarchists or some form of explosion. However, subsequent investigations revealed that the tank's steel walls were too thin to contain 2.3 million gallons of molasses. Moreover, the type of steel used was incredibly brittle. It wasn't solely the faulty construction that resulted in disaster. Several factors converged to create the perfect storm of molasses. Another main reason was a newly delivered molasses, still warm from the southern weather, had arrived from Puerto Rico a few days before the accident. As the warm molasses mixed with the cold molasses already in the tank, a gas was released, gradually increasing the pressure inside. Throughout that week, the outside temperature fluctuated, rising 2 degrees Fahrenheit to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. This caused the warm molasses to thin and expand, intensifying the pressure within the tank. Since the tank was sealed shut, there was no way for the gas and pressure to escape safely. Additionally, the winter weather aggravated the calamity. As the warm molasses burst from the tank, it instantly encountered the frigid air, cooling and thickening it, making escape incredibly challenging. If the tank had ruptured during the hotter summer months, the molasses would have been thinner, running more and spreading further. But it wouldn't have possessed the same viscosity and stickiness. In the aftermath, 119 lawsuits were filed against the United States Industrial Alcohol Corporation for damages. The court cases were combined into one extensive lawsuit that lasted over 5 years. During the proceedings, over 1,000 witnesses, including victims and explosive experts, testified. Eventually, it was established that no sabotage had taken place, despite an increased period of terrorist activity by Italian anarchist groups leading up to World War I. The cause of the disaster was deemed to be a structural failure due to poor planning and lack of oversight. The victims and their families were awarded $628,000 in damages, equivalent to $8 million USD today. The Great Molasses Flood of 1919 may be a fading memory, its details obscured by the sepia tones of history books. But its impact resonates. Buildings stand taller, engineered with the weight of that tragedy in their blueprints. Licensed architects and engineers watch over construction sites. Ghosts of crushed houses and buried firefighters, a constant reminder of the price of negligence. The name Molly Molasses adorns a Ducktour's amphibious vehicle, a playful nod to a disaster etched in sorrow. In classrooms and living rooms, children turn the pages of "I Survived the Great Molasses Flood," their imaginations grappling with the sweet, suffocating horror of that day. In every tourist snapshot and every local's sweet bite, the North End echoes resilience. Beyond bricks and sorrow, it's a testament to the human spirit rising above challenges. The Molasses Flood, a closed chapter but an open legacy, cautions us.